Kaduna Economic and Investment Summit, which is slated for the 13th to the 15th of October next month, inshallah. This year it's going to be the 7th edition, and also the last edition under this current administration, but hopefully not the last that you'll see in Kaduna. So for some of you that may or may not have heard of KADINVEST, this is a space that you want to be in. We'll be talking about what KADINVEST is, why we hold it every year, what the expected outcomes are, what to look out for, and basically taking you through all the events that we have lined up for you, how to register and participate or partner with us. With me, I have the Executive Secretary of KADIPA, Khalil Nur Khalil, and a couple of my colleagues from KADIPA. So hopefully this would be a very informative session. We'll also have a Q&A session, hopefully at the end of this discussion, in case there are any questions, comments, or anything you want to put out there. We'll create time for that. But yes, that's the whole idea for hosting this space. We felt it was necessary to get people on the wave, get people ready, get people excited and anticipating the summit. So I would like to do this basically maybe in 2 or 3 parts. Let's talk about KADINVEST in terms of like an overview. Let's have an overview from the executive secretary on basically why we hold KADINVEST, what is the purpose of it, what are the objectives for the summit, and maybe talk about some of the successes that we've recorded due to the summit, to kind of have like a conversation opener. So yes, if you're with us, could you?
Yes. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Khalil Nur Khalil, Executive Secretary, Kaduna Investment Promotion Agency, KADIPA. As Hannah has rightly mentioned, we felt this is necessary pre-summit wise to be able to engage everyone, to give everyone an overview of what KADINVEST is meant to be, the purposes, aims, objectives, and so on. So KADINVEST is what's known as the Kaduna Economic and Investment Summit. It is held annually since this administration began. The first one was held in 2016, KADINVEST 1.0. We're in the 7th edition. What this entails is this is a summit, an economic and investment summit that brings together policymakers, the government itself, the private sector. So businessmen, entrepreneurs, young, old, alike, foreign, local investors, we come in, we sit down, we deliberate. State government, showcases its economic plans for the future, what it has been able to achieve. The private sector also keys in, we deliberate, we explore innovative policy regimes and try and see how we can forge on and make the state better in terms of job creation, in terms of increasing the IGR, in terms of raising living standards across the state. Now, Kaduna State has been able to do quite well, exceptionally well, actually, under the administration of His Excellency, Governor Malan Nasir Ahmad El-Rufai. I think when KADINVEST began, the state's investment portfolio was little to nothing, and now we're boasting an investment portfolio of about $4.4 billion and counting. The IGR of the state was about 13 or 14 billion naira when this administration came on board in about 2014, 2015. 2021 figures show that we have increased this to about 52.8 billion naira and counting. This is no small feat. We feel other states should be able to replicate all the successes Kaduna State has been able to achieve at a sub-national level. It just takes a lot of committed and deliberate policy making, economic planning, reforms across key MDAs and so on. Even KADIPA itself is a reform. Were established by law number 17, December 23rd in 2015. This is an agency created as a one-stop shop for investors so that we can have a private sector-led economic growth in Kaduna State. State government is limited in its resources, so it is key and vital for the private sector to be able to put in capital to grow the state's economy, create jobs, IGR, and so on. So far, so good. The key objectives of the summit, of course, will be, image building. We're trying to showcase the comparative advantages of the state, trying to have in-depth conversations with the private sector. We're trying to have, it will be delivered in presentation formats, documentaries, panel sessions, networking B2B events, and so on. This KADINVEST is going to be, I think, the most innovative. It's the last but not the least. We're going to have instructional videos. We're doing what's known as AR cards, augmented reality tags, and the likes. The virtual component itself would not be just held on the Zoom platform that everybody is used to. We're going all out in collaboration with Greysoft Technologies, who run the Grey Hub. Who run Grey Hub. It's a hub in Kaduna State, situated in Barna. They're really quite big on the virtual reality aspect of things. This is going to be the first time a subnational in Nigeria will be able to hold its economic and investment summit on the metaverse. So you have to watch out for that. A bunch of other things, that I can't disclose. And then we're going to have commissionings on the second day. I think, Hannah, am I allowed
I
to
think
give the, or
I
am I
wanted you
jumping the
to just
gun?
give yeah, I
I'm
just
jumping the
wanted you
gun.
to like sort of give an overview first as to what CADINVEST even stands for. But yeah, that's where I was getting into. So CADINVEST this year, what is it all about? The theme, building a resilient economy. Where does that come from? Why? Um, what inspired that theme, and also like what to expect this year. So like the whole 3-day event broken down for people to kind of visualize what to expect. And then we'll talk about, participation, registration, the website itself, and hopefully we'll get everyone on here to register before the end of, well, not before the end of this session, but by tomorrow. I'll expect a lot of you to be registered. So let's talk about this year's CADINVEST. Why is it different? What are the mind-blowing things to expect? You don't have to drop the whole gun, but just maybe get people on the same wave that we're on. Let's start with the theme, and then let's get into the registration itself and the events lined up for the 3 days, if that's
Okay.
not.
Yeah. So we settled on building a resilient economy. Last year, we're able to launch the 2021-2025 SDP, the State Development Plan. As you may all be aware, Kaduna State government came on board with a manifesto, a governance agenda, developed a state development plan 2016 to 2020 that has expired. So we launched the 2021 to 2025, building towards a knowledge-based economy. This entails three pillars of the economy: digital economy, infrastructural development, and of course, economic added value activities across priority sectors and the likes. So, this is the last one for this administration. So, building a resilient economy is key, is part and parcel of what the, consolidation efforts is for this administration, as far as achievements are concerned. But as far as policy is concerned and direction going into the next administration, we felt that a resilient economy is key. Building one would entail a lot of more deliberate economic planning. So we need to sit down, deliberate on that. How do we achieve this, knowledge-based economy that we're talking about? Kaduna residents will testify to the infrastructural development. Kaduna residents will testify to the brewing nascent tech ecosystem that is growing in Kaduna State. We have the likes of Aminu Bakori, a lot of other collab people, my little brother Abubakar, killing it on the global stage and so on. What are the plans that the state government is doing as far as creating economic zones, for value-added economic activities across agriculture, solid minerals, and the likes? We have a lot of investments, that were brought in, such as African Natural Resources and Mines Limited, the likes of Olam that everybody's aware of, DPAN, and the rest. What do we, the idea is where are we headed into the future, what has been achieved, and so on. So, building a resilient economy is key. We need to all come together and build, a resilient economy for Kaduna State. That's on that. And I can't remember the next
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, thanks. I was hoping you'd get into the separate events and basically talk about the concept of, having an expo and commissionings on a different day, and then the summit. So just take us through why we have KADINVEST running for 3 days and what to expect as well.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. Right. So everybody is aware that His Excellency has achieved a lot. He has left a lot of legacy. He has left Kaduna very much different from what it was. I've spent about 30 years in this state, and I can testify personally as well that I've never seen development like this before. So obviously, cramming CAD Invest into the usual 2 days we usually hold for the past 6 years is not going to be possible. His Excellency has done too much. We need to ensure we showcase what has been done in this administration, what's in store for Kaduna residents going forward into the next 4 years, should they vote in an APC government again. Hopefully so. So what we have done is we sat down and looked at it. I think KADINVEST will probably be running for about a week, the week of the 10th of October. We have pre-summit events and then the main summit itself. The pre-summit events will be in 2 days on the 11th and the 12th. We have worked with the likes of Links and GIZ. The two pre-summit events would be Inclusive Business Workshop on the 11th by GIZ. This Inclusive Business Workshop is going to enlighten Kaduna businesses, residents, entrepreneurs, and the likes on what exactly does it mean for you to run a business that is inclusive. So, how much are you including the community around you in terms of your business strategy and the likes, while still remaining commercially viable? So, as far as impact is concerned, and this administration, assessing the impact of all the investments that it has brought in. This is very vital. Once we conduct a landscape survey of all the companies who have been able to facilitate into Kaduna State, we'll be able to accredit these businesses and say, okay, Khalil Ventures is accredited, is an inclusive business, accredited business, or whatever. And then this means that I'll be able to get more incentives as I plan to expand my business in Kaduna. So maybe I'll be able to get waivers and so on. Since I'm able to empower my community, I've probably built schools, I've probably built hospitals, I've probably employed all the local community into my business and so on. So that's quite vital as far as impact is concerned. We need to ensure the locals are the ones that are feeling the impact of all these investments we're bringing in as far as job creation is concerned, and IGR that translates into infrastructural development. The second pre-summit event would be what's known as access to climate finance. Moving into the 21st century, we have to become climate conscious. Climate conscious in the sense that businesses need to begin to plan accordingly with all the realities that are ensuing in terms of climate change, climate risks, and so on. So Kadipa has built or has developed a framework known as CREST, the Climate Resilience and Environmental Sustainability Advisory Toolkit, CREST. This is for our PPP initiatives. Now, this access to climate workshop will enlighten and sensitize Kaduna businesses on how to access the financing from financial institutions as far as climate finance is concerned. We feel, this is key, this is vital as far as state development plan is concerned. And companies in Kaduna State, we want them to be able to access these finances to be able to expand and for us to retain the businesses in Kaduna State. Then we'll move into the main summit itself, which is, like you rightly mentioned, 3 days long. Why 3 days long? Because we needed to have one part of it or one component of it where, there's this intimate setting where B2B businesses, B2B interactions, networking, private sector and public sector presentations, documentaries, panel sessions are held. So the first event will be held on the 13th at Centenary Park. We're going to have about four marquees, each housing a critical or priority sector. One will be in technology, one will be about infrastructure, one will be about agriculture, the other will be solid minerals and others. For technology, we're going to have the likes of Aminu Bakori, Sanusi from Colab, Abubakar on the panel, discussing about the future of global finance in Kaduna State. We're going to have presentations from relevant government MDs. We're going to have a pitching session. We're going to have all our hubs to come in and present what it is they've been working on, and then the investment opportunities available, in the tech sector. Agricultural sector, we'll have the likes of Sadiq Falalu, CEO of Falgate. We'll be able to, are going to commission his plant as well. A bunch of our development partners discussing, investments in the agri-business sector. There'll be a pitching session as well as far as agriculture is concerned. There'll be, we're going to highlight and showcase the livestock subsector. The DG of Kadlira, Kaduna Livestock Regulatory Agency, is going to showcase all the regulations that she has been working on, how investors can key into all the new layouts we have as far as agriculture is concerned. We'll have a bunch of other documentaries. We'll be able to unveil GIPS, that's the Ginger Investment Policy and Strategy. We'll be signing an MOU with IBAN on the Inclusive Business Action Network. We'll be doing presentations on the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone with UK NIAF and the likes. As far as infrastructure is concerned, we're going to have presentations by all the Metropolitan Authority administrators slash commissioners, Hafiz Bayero, Balaraba Inua, Phoebe, and the likes. We'll be discussing development of economic zones and layouts for businesses in Kaduna State. We want the private sector to be aware about all the new expansions, layouts, etc. for their businesses, so that they can get the necessary allocations and or expand their businesses in the state. We're going to talk about other infrastructure in Kaduna State. So we're going to talk about opportunities in water infrastructure, power infrastructure, PPPs and infrastructure financing, private sector investment in transport infrastructure, and so on and so forth. We would have KK Kingdom, who's also a headline sponsor. They'll be talking about the Green Economic Zone in Marabon Jos, all their plans, how investors can key in, and so on. Then with solid minerals and others in Kaduna State, we feel solid minerals is going to be the next cash cow for us to expand our IGR in hopes of us, not relying on FAC anymore to be able to actually, afford all our salaries and so on from IGR alone. So we'll have presentations by the MD of Kaduna Mining Development Company. We would have the likes of African Natural Resources and Mines Limited giving us a presentation on their plant, how value chain companies can come in and integrate, what are the opportunities there. We'll be discussing the ease of doing business reforms, how to sustain the number one position that we have in the World Bank Subnational Ranking Report in 2018. Would have presentations in other sectors that we felt have been neglected over the past. So sectors such as what are the investment opportunities in education, what are the investment opportunities in the healthcare sector. Our deputy governor and my chairman of KADIPA board has been doing an excellent job with the Commissioner of Health as far as the health reforms are concerned. Everybody has seen Zipline commissioning, 300 bed that we're working on, and a bunch of other hospitals and oncology centers coming up where we're working with the likes of NSIA and so on. So we need that to be highlighted. We're going to sensitize the residents on the opportunities there, both local and foreign investors as well, and how they can key in. The sports sector has also been neglected, so we need to ensure we also highlight the investment opportunities in Kaduna State as far as reforms in that sector is concerned and the investment opportunities. Innovation as well within football itself. We're going to have a presentation by an NFF representative. We're going to discuss strengthening the mining industry's competitiveness. And then, of course, we're going to discuss the business of entertainment uh, by Joe Fasaha. He said his name is not Joe Fasaha, it's Joseph Ike. I was shocked as well, but we'll continue to call him Joe Fasaha. Then we're going to be talking about the revitalization of the textile industry as well. And we'll be able to sign this MOU on the Film Village project between Kaduna State Government, Katsima, the Chamber of Commerce, and then a bunch of private sector players that will be able to come in so we can utilize the trade fair and so on. So that's on the first day. You get your wristband with the augmented reality tag on it that will be able to show you the 3D map of the place, program of events, biography of your panelists and the likes, and so on and so forth. What else? Then the second day is going to be all about commissionings. These commissionings, for now, we have about 12 projects. They may expand or reduce depending on the outcome over the next few weeks before we execute. We're going to be commissioning Afex's plant. They have a processing plant and a warehouse. Afex is one of the largest agribusiness companies in Nigeria. They have about 100 and something warehouses, Comex, the app, etc. They've been doing a lot. This is one of the prime investments that we're very proud of in Kaduna State. They're also headline sponsors for KADINVEST. We'll be commissioning Filegate's rice mill. That's another big project. We went earlier on to inspect the plant for commissioning. It's about an 8 metric ton per hour plant. Sadiq is a very young man. I think he was in the Forbes 30 under 30. He's doing a wonderful job and the future of Dangote. So we're very proud of him and we're going to commission that and his rice mill. And then we'll be commissioning flour mills. They have a feed mill and a fertilizer blending plant. The Safe City project to highlight how serious the state government is in terms of investing in security architecture of the state. Kaduna Galaxy Mall. Everybody's excited about Kaduna Galaxy Mall, ShopRite, and other tenant businesses that will be launched. Amsco Neighborhood Center, which is right across Kaduna Galaxy Mall, the Ngwarimi Market, and then 3 housing projects: Rhino Estate, Nur Siraj, and Muafak first phase in Millennium City. What else? Then the main summit. The main summit itself will be the one that everybody has been used to. It's very high level. We'll have the likes of Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor, with our welcoming remarks, and Chairman of Kadipa Board. We'll have a presentation by His Excellency on all the KADINVEST that have happened, the achievements, where we're at, and what building a resilient economy would entail. We have His Highness Muhammad Sanusi II, who is our Vice Chair of the Kadipa Board, who will be discussing subnational innovation and building a resilient economy. We're going to watch out for that as well. Have a documentary done by the media team, the governor's media team, on the Kaduna investment story, journey, and achievement. We're going to have a keynote speech by Dr. Zainab Usman, who wrote the diversification book that was recently released. She'll be speaking on building a resilient and diversified economy for Kaduna State. We'll have a speech by the APC gubernatorial candidate, Senator Ubasani. This is to show investors how serious we are, from the outgoing government to the incoming government, so that we'll be able to highlight all the sustainable, or how we're going to sustain all these reforms going into the next administration. We'll be signing a Kaduna Mutual Accountability Framework, a new ease of doing business charter, unveiling of the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone, and then have our plenary sessions, one on infrastructure for knowledge-based economy, the second one for agricultural transformation for sustainable and resilient food systems in Kaduna State, also pretty high-level stuff. Have our goodwill messages, and then we'll be able to close. Now, mind you, all of this will be able to take place on the metaverse. So we'll have virtual booths. People will be able to watch the summit itself live, virtually in the metaverse, logging into the Zoom. We'll have an instructional video for those who are confused. So don't worry, you'll be able to create your avatar and the likes. We'll get into that a little bit. So yeah, that's about it. I think after that, we'll also be commissioning the OCP fertilizer blending plant on Tuesday. As a little bit out of the program of events, but it's worth noting as this is the first plant that will be commissioned outside of Morocco, and this has happened under the administration of His Excellency. The investment story of Kaduna State is concerned under his administration. Thank you, Hannah.
Thanks a lot, yes, for the wholesome lot of information. I hope nobody got lost. But if you did, it's fine. Our website is live, like I mentioned earlier, at kadinvest.live.